Welcome back, welcome back. I'm MTG Joe, and today we're going to be playing another rotation-proof deck. So these are decks with cards featuring from only the Ravnica sets onward. So these will be kind of useful in the upcoming event on September 9th, where Arena will basically house these rotation or new standard style decks. So we've played about 15 to 20 of these on the channel, so pretty much every archetype's been covered to some extent, or at least color pair. So you can tune back on the YouTube channel. There's an entire playlist, so if you want to see some other ideas, or check out on Aether Hub as well. I post all the deck lists there. So this one here is a blue-black Reanimator deck. So basically what we're trying to do is put cards into our graveyard, and then play reanimation spells like Blood for Bones or Connive, Concoct to bring back some of the big threats within the deck. So what we're trying to do, and what I want to try to get the most out of, is Agent of Treachery. Try to steal as many things as possible from the opponent, and then Quasiduplicate it to get more copies. We have Scholar of Ages, which can get back our Blood for Bones or other style of cards, and then we have a Vilis, Broker of Blood. So I'm trying to see if this will work like the Grizzlebrand in the Legacy versions of the deck. So basically you can pay 2 life, put 1/1 counters, and whenever you lose life you draw that many cards. So then we have ways like Discovery to put cards into our graveyard, Bonds of Insight, and then I'm using Ashiok as opposed to playing more copies of Connive, Concoct. The reason being is Ashiok kind of has dual purpose in the deck. It can exile the opponent's graveyard, so if we go against the Kethis combo, it can stop Scapeshift from being able to search. So there's a couple of good utility effects there. And then we have Tomebound Lich to also put cards into our graveyard, as well as the Surveil from Thought Erasure. Massacre Girl and Ritual of Soot are board wipes. The one thing I'm noticing with the deck, though, with this particular iteration, is because we're going more Blood for Bones, I might need to cut down a couple of these and then go the other spell. Or actually, let's go up one. Cut down one of these and then put 2 Thibblethrips. We need creatures to be able to sack to get these out. So that's something to keep in mind. So we'll play around. If we need more Connive Concocts, we'll play those instead. Thibblethip here becomes Shuffle It, so I don't know if that works interaction-wise. Okay, so what's a good creature? Now we could just do Wall of Lost Thoughts. That's what I was using before. It plays a similar idea where it mills. There we go. So this will basically put cards into our library as well as be a option for Blood for Bones. I'm just gonna get rid of the Bonds of Insights then. Play 4 Blood for Bones. Or let's do the other Reanimator. It's like Bonds of Insight, a Bond of Revival. Okay, we'll try that out. Oh, sorry. Sideboard wise, mana base, you got Dismal Backwaters, Watery Graves, and the sideboard you got Legion's End versus like Scapeshift, tiny stuff, Noxious Grasp versus green and white stuff, Elderspell versus the Planeswalker decks. Post sideboard, they might bring in ways to deal with the graveyard, so Thief of Sanity is a way to go over top. Unmoored Ego versus any of the combo style decks, and a Liliana just against control is like a card draw engine, and then just a threat, an alternative threat. So I know we were trying to get to Mythic. We didn't come too close. There's 59 minutes left. We'll see if we can rank up any higher, but couldn't get past it, unfortunately. We were playing a lot of Mono Red Cavalcade yesterday, probably put in about 100 games with the deck. So let me know in the comments as well if there's any other of the rotation decks you'd like to see. Trying to get through all the backlog of requests that came up. We got closer to Mythic, so that's why we're going with that. And as always, if you're tuning in live on Twitch and you miss any parts, or you're just catching this on YouTube and vice versa, best way to know when I go live on Twitch is to follow on Twitch. And if you can, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Both are free and easy ways to help support the channel. I think we're going to keep this. We go first, Backwater on 1. The scry lines would be useful in this deck, but we don't get the... I forget what the blue-black temple's name is offhand. This might also give them the idea where... Okay, so those are vampires. So in this matchup, we need to dig for Ritual of Soot. I think we just go like that. We just want to try to dig for some sort of answer. It might be a little greedy main board, not playing that much removal. But we are trying to... Our removal is agent, in a way. Just drawing all these lines isn't helping the cause. So Ashiok targets ourselves. Okay, so if we get... Bond went in, we need a creature. We might just be too slow. Hey Noada, how's it going today? Thanks for dropping by the stream. So here... I think we're just dead.
Behold, my epilogue of fear.
That's 9, 10. Yeah, we're dead. Alright, so that didn't work out as planned. So in this matchup, Legion's End is good, Noxious Grasp is good. I don't think we want the Ego. Liliana's not bad. So Thought Erasures, the walls are okay. Probably go down a couple Scholars, go down the Vilis. Then we need 3 more cuts to get rid of the Quasiduplicate. And Quasiduplicate might just be a little too cute in this deck. We might need a couple more Wall of Lost Thoughts as early blockers. Let's cut those. Go from here. So I haven't played, like, this is the first time we're playing with the deck. And we are playing ranked, so we might need to go to unranked. I'm going to keep this hand. We got removal and a Thought Erasure. Tomebound Lich. Yeah, so Drakaseth even comes in the blue-black version sometimes. It's usually the preferred, where you use Bond of Revival to give it haste. So we might want to switch to that instead. I'm going to see to get rid of a Sorin here. Gonna get rid of the Duress here. We need lands. So the reason we got Duress there is it gets rid of our Legion's End. Kinda wish we Legion's End this turn instead, but just hoping to grab a Sorin out of their hand. Okay, so here we can Legion's End on the Sky Marcher. Just play that tapped. Then Tomebound at least has Death Touch, which is pretty good. Saheeli might be another, or not Saheeli, what's her name? Cameo. Splashing a little green in the deck could be useful. So I'm gonna go Scholar of Ages. and then just play the swamp. So I'll probably block regardless, because I can Dispersal to bounce this. Oh, they just go after us. Okay. Noxious Grasp isn't the best here. Liliana's good. So we're just going to dig deeper here. Ritual and Agent. So I'm going to put Agent in the yard and then put Ritual on top. Ritual could give us a chance to catch up. Because we're live to either a land for Liliana, get them to sack their board. They may choose not to attack here and just keep growing it with Soaring. We block regardless. Ooh, they didn't even pump. That's interesting. Okay, so they screwed up there. So we'll drop Liliana here. Yeah, Quantum, I think they just messed up. I think they intended to pump there, and then they just passed through the sequencing. Yeah, got him. So I think we run it back. You know what? I think we just cut the Scholars to begin with. They might be a little too slow. And maybe cut... Do we do a Bond of Revival? Gives a haste. Maybe a Blood for Bones and just pop in a couple Thieves. Thieves can block worst case, and they can also fly over top. They can steal... We can take their creatures to block with, which can be a little useful there. That was a weird play. To be up to like... They're basically Diamond 1 with Vampires, so they'd be playing the deck quite a bit, I would imagine. We'll keep this hand. We can effectively go Thought Erasure, Tomebound into Blood for Bones, and then try to steal one of their threats with like an Agent or something. Worst case, we can drop Ashiok first to start filling the yard. Might go Wallow Lost Thoughts actually onto... No, I still think Thought Erasure is probably the safer bet. Unless they take it, or they take Ashiok. Blood for Bones is another option. Okay, they take the Thought Erasure. So they made our decision for us. Okay, we got Bond of Revival as well. So we got everything to get the stuff out of the graveyard. We just need stuff in our graveyard. And there's an Agent. Awesome. So I'll probably go Tomebound next turn.
I have not survived millennia to stand down now.
I'm actually not gonna block. Do I block? They might put a Vampire in. Because if they sack it anyways, then I'm fine. Because what they could have done was attack and then sack it to deal with it. It's a free attack. You gain a life. I think we just need to dig for a land here. Yeah, without fail, that's the turn 3 play, it feels like. So we bounced another Agent. We really want an untapped land next turn. We do have the Death Touch, so that might hold back the champion.
Blood calls to your soul.
I will block like this. Interesting as well. Like, to me, this is a sack this to get in with the champion. Sky Marcher. Aye. That's the land drop. Do we just go... Yeah, I think we go land here. This will at least gain us a life. Yeah, maybe he doesn't realize the death touch. I think with the first agent, we do need to steal the Sorin. Why are you highlighting like that? I want to see what's in my graveyard. Yeah, we gotta take first agent. Oh, actually, no, we're taking Sankum Seeker.
My bloodline flows through you.
Do we attack down Sorin? That turns off their down tick, but no, we probably keep it back. If we trade, then it's probably fine. Because we're getting close to just hard casting these. We have another Blood for Bones, so I can sack the agent to get back like Tomebound Lich and another agent. Okay, so they cast down that. So we're gonna have to take this hit, unfortunately. Ooh, Massacre Girl.
Watch your temper.
Okay, so we go. So sack agent. Put a creature into the battlefield. We want Agent of Treachery and then Tomebound Lich to hand. We're doing Tomebound for the lifelink. I think we just take Sky Marcher here because it has the flying. Prison Realm. We want him to drop like a 1-drop down just so we can Massacre Girl it. Like a 1 toughness. Connive could also, or the backside of Discovery.
Blood is the life.
Oh yeah, they just saw and kill us. Yeah, missed that play. Alright, so need to tweak the deck a bit. Thanks for those tuning in. We went to game 3 against vampires, but what we're noticing with the deck is Blood for Bones is not what we want to be at, and I think we want Bond of Revival. And then get rid of the Quasiduplicates. Just play 1 and play 4 Wall of Lost Thoughts as early interaction. We probably want... No, I think we're okay. That game we just didn't get the Massacre Girl off when we needed it. No, let's craft one of these. Go down to Blood for Bones. Alright, we'll run it back. I'm just gonna play unranked for now. Just since it's at the end of the season, want to hold that rank at least. How are we doing today? This is a rotation-proof deck for those who just tuned in, so basically only cards from Ravnica onwards. And what we're trying to do with the deck is throw a bunch of creatures into our graveyard and reanimate them back. Kind of the go-to is Agent of Treachery. We were trying to steal all their either lands, creatures, whatever value, draw a bunch of cards. Trying out a Vilis as kind of our Grizzlebrand-esque top end threat, but we might want to put some Dracotheth in. Obviously no way to cast it, but I think I'm gonna keep this hand. We have lands. Discovery is basically gonna smooth out our draw, and we can go from there. We're looking for like a Tomebound Lich or something like that. Obviously against aggro, this hand's not as good. Or do we mulligan? Because Quasiduplicate's basically a dead card right now. Yeah, I think we mulligan. Just talked myself into it. Opponent's deciding. Okay, sounds better. I'm gonna put Vilis. Or you know what? Are we ever gonna cast Vilis? No. So not having something like Chartacourse makes this a little worse. So that's probably an opt, is my guess. So this might be Jeskai's Super Friends. Or it might be Phoenix. Haven't seen as much Phoenix recently. Yeah, it's Jeskai's Super Friends. So we're gonna mill ourselves. So not hitting anything. Oh, we got the Scholar, I guess.
I know my responsibility.
Kind of want them to bounce.
Oh, I've done the hero thing before.
They did not want to bounce. So we're drawing nothing but lands.
Here we go.
Okay, so another wall. So in terms of reprints, it depends. You'll usually get more reprints in like core sets, and then there's usually like the occasional one or two in like fall sets to kind of sell. Okay, so
Let's try this.
create the dragon.
Magnificent.
I actually kind of just want to gain control of the dragon. Yeah, sorry, one sec. I'll answer your question, Quan. Oh. What's your converted mana cost? Oh, power 2 or less, not converted mana cost. Do we go Ritual here? Or just bring back Massacre Girl? We're taking 12. Okay, I think we bring back Scholar. I'm just gonna bin all these. Probably a little too slow in this game. So I'm gonna get back Scholar. Get back Blood for Bones, Connive. Yeah, so depending on the cards themselves, they'll get reprinted in a standard set, or they'll get reprinted in what's called a Masters set. So you'll hear, the most recent would have been Modern Horizons. They had like Modern Masters or Iconic Masters, stuff like that. They also kind of get reprinted depending on their appeal in like casual sets, like Commander. Really want an agent here.
I'll protect you.
Fairy bounces. And they got Chandra to kind of scoot that up.
Ever see a volcano erupt in no pressure.
So a little unfortunate. We're 1 mana short. They have the 8 damage in the air. Massacre Girl doesn't really do much. Good Tomebound. So I think we just need to try to go for an agent here. Yeah. not enough here. They'll probably bring an Ashiok post board. This doesn't do enough. Okay. So they didn't see the Agent of Treachery. Agent's actually really good in this matchup. But this is a matchup where we'll bring in the Thieves. I'm going to bring in Unmoored Ego to get rid of Sarkin. And then the Elderspells. Probably just go from there. In this matchup, Quasiduplicate's not good. Ashiok's fine. Because Ashiok can exile if they have like Search for a Scanta or something. Gonna get rid of a Blood for Bones. The rituals aren't as good. Get rid of Massacre Girl. Against a fairy, Vilis is a lot worse. Let's probably just get rid of that. Because like we could bring it in, but then it just gets bounced. Whereas like at least these have relevant enter the battlefield effects. Yeah, I think we just run it like that. I may be inclined with Ashiok just to start milling the opponent. Because usually they'll only have like big Teferi loop to win. 2 Chandra, big Chandras, and then 3 to 4 Sarkins. So I usually I'll name Sarkin first because you saw in that game it presented the fastest clock. If we could get to 7 mana and start casting agents, especially if the opponent's close to ultimating like a Teferi, then it's pretty good for us. I'm really excited for Brawl to be coming out. I was pretty much EDH only, so this hand's great. Disruption, try to drop a Thief, and then go to work there. Thief that can be kept alive for a couple turns is very formidable. I think first Brawl deck will probably be either Golos or Saheeli. Yeah. Ooh, this is interesting. Okay, so backup Thief. I might try to bait first with... Oh, if they do that main, then we drop this down and then we're in a good spot. Oh, perfect. Wanted to get around the Syncopate. I want to do Teferi Fun Police. Just... yeah. So a lot of times these decks, if you drop a turn 3 Thief, I think we run it back. They'll probably bring in Clarions now, so we need to be mindful of that. Clarion does deal with our 7-drops as well. So we're playing like small-bodied 7-drops that just happen to recycle value. But if we could get in and steal a Planeswalker, we're usually happy. Was there any other deck chats that you wanted to see in terms of rotation proof? There's quite a few I've done thus far. I think the only other one that was outstanding from the Reanimator side was the Flash deck. So some sort of Simic Flash. Yeah, there's certain Grixis Control, I don't think I've done. I gotta just double check how many boluses I have. I think I have 2. I'm a little concerned right now about the mana base, to be honest, because we don't have a lot of duels. This hand is terrible. Oof. We need a blue source. And we got a blue source. Okay, so now we're in this game. Might be able to do, instead of like Grixis... Yeah, I could probably try something out Grixis-wise. So same idea. See if it's clear for Thief. There's a Teferi... I think we want more action. So Lava Coil is pure removal. They do have War Boss, which is annoying. What do we do here? Thief Tempo plays, so I think we just try to fill the yard. Okay, so we got an agent. So agent's actually pretty good because we can steal the Sarkin. This might distract them to attack Ashiok as well. Oh, and they down ticked, which is good for us. We can play the Thief and not have to worry about it getting bounced. If they brought in War Boss as well, they may have not... Okay, they're attacking Ashiok down. So that bought us a turn. So here I'm just going to go Thief. So I'm going to steal the War Boss most likely.
This might be a bad idea.
Or do I kill the War Boss? Kill the War Boss, go after Soren. Well, we'll get a creature back and we'll get Soren, so I think we just... Or we'll get the War Boss. Or Sarkin, not Soren.
Fight with the dragon's ray. Behold!
Or do we get this? No, I think we have to go Sarkin here.
Might demands power.
No attacks. We can also just go Thought Erasure next turn.
Here goes nothing.
What's it cost? Minus. Make a dragon to block. Just let it die, maybe. Opponent can't decide how they want to attack. Probably just block the ground creatures.
Listen to our watch this.
If they want to bounce it with Teferi, then I'm fine.
The dragon does not lose.
Ooh, Elderspell's good. So let's attack in first. See what we hit from them. Yeah. Op's not very good. And they got all lands in hand. Just go another Thief. Yeah, we could go another Thief. If they draw another Planeswalker, we can Elderspell both of them. Turn agent to hand. Do we block on the War Boss is the question. Or just try to dig. Got the Lava Coil. That's a lot of damage coming in. Okay, so I think I want to try to find Ritual of Soot. It's not it. Gonna try to find a sweeper if they have it. Shock doesn't do much. Yep, we're dead. Oh, we didn't keep in Ritual. Yeah, I should have known better that they would have had the creature post board. Most of these will differentiate. We'll run one more. Deck felt a bit better there than the first match. I think I like the switch of 4 Wall of Lost Thoughts. Overall, that might be better in this matchup too than the Ashiok. Just since it can block, but we're kind of weak to the skies. First, this hand does nothing. Phew. I think we keep it. Hope for the best. And of course, vampires. Give them less information. They saw an island. So we're going to bring in the Legion's End, the Liliana, Noxious Grasp. I actually don't think I'll bring in the Noxious Grasp. Against vampires, most of it's black based. We'll bring in the Thieves. Coming out will be Quasiduplicate, the Ashioks, Vilis, and what do we want? Agent's good. Maybe shave us 2 scholars down. Go like that. So, like, with that game there, it was a pretty quick concession, but them being an aggressive deck and our deck taking a couple turns to get going, this hand's better. You want to basically be able to disrupt them. So here, if we can dodge a 1-drop, we can start picking apart their hand. And I may be inclined to just drop Thief on 3 and get going that way. We want to be able to pick off a Sorin here, most likely, or something like an Odonto Vanguard. Or the... I forget the vampire that draws a bunch of cards. The Backwater in this matchup, especially on turn 1, is actually a plus card. 1-drop. Oh, he's got it. Vampires is just a super consistent deck. So here, I'm gonna get rid of the Sorin, and I'm gonna put the Agent in the bin. We also got an untapped land, so we don't have to take damage. Okay, so they did hit another one. Ooh, that's very good. So next turn we can Thought Erasure and Discovery. So we can take the Sanctum Seeker. No blocks here. We're going to take the damage, unfortunately. Ooh. There's also Ritual of Soot, so I think we got to do this. Gonna take the Legion's End. Pay 2 life. So Sanctum Seeker comes down earlier. We want a 5th land for the bond. And we'll just get rid of the Knight of Eben Legion. Yeah. Picked them apart there. Much better showing for the deck. I miss me some Thief action. So that hand is probably as good as we're going to get. I think we keep this again. Just run it back. They'll probably bring in cast downs now. Having seen... They did see that we were kind of a Reanimator deck, I think, just with Agent of Treachery. So I think they'll probably bring cast down. It's pretty much their go-to. Noxious Grasp doesn't do anything against us. getting rid of the Sorin and just screwing up their curve has helped a lot. And that was what we had advantage-wise. Like, Legion's End does nothing against us. And they had to keep it in, which just turned out to be removal to them. Yeah, we'll try it out. These would have been much better for Thought Erasure, but... Oh, Legion's End. We're gonna gain a life. We can Legion's End, if need be. Oh, especially in a Danto. Ooh, and Massacre Girl. So I'm going to do this, because Sorin comes down, makes it bigger and harder to deal with. This also exiles, where other removal won't. And they're at 4 lands and a Champion of Dusk. They shock themselves. So they're sending us a message. I don't know if they realize we can still see their hand. Alright. Took him out. So what I'll do is I'll show you guys and gals one of the fun decks I've been playing on the side. So I gotta make one change. So I played this briefly on stream one time, but it's actually probably one of my favorite decks to play right now. So just need to make one switch and I'll explain. So this is a mono blue base Golos Field of the Dead artifact deck. So what we're trying to do with this deck is through Chromatic Lantern activate Golos a bunch. You have the cost reduction of Ugin with Mystic Forge to play a whole bunch of stuff out of our library for free. And then you have Sai and Saheeli to make a bunch of tokens. Zajid was okay in the deck. I might just go up another, probably another Saheeli, or probably another Sai, or another treasure map. Oh, sorry. So basically what we're trying to do with the deck is create a bunch of artifacts and go wild from there. With Golos and Chromatic Lantern, all your lands can tap for any color, so you can basically cast a whole bunch of stuff for free. Tezzeret was what I wanted to add in, so you can just shoot your opponent to death. And then the land base is, because it's a Field of the Dead deck, you can search for a couple Field of the Deads with the Golos. And then a whole bunch of different lands here. You got Mobilized District, Karn's Bastion, Interplanar Beacon, bunch of Field of Ruins, Blast Zones, and then basically a bunch of dual lands to be able to cast like the multicolor aspects of the deck. The one thing I'm going to do is make one change. Probably just get rid of the beacon and put in another Watery Grave now that we added in the Tez. Just helps us hit this consistently. So this has also got a Karn Scion of Great Creator Wishboard. So you got a bunch of key hate cards. So Grafdigger's Cage, Sentinel Totem, first like Exile, Graveyards, Amulet, first token decks, Spyglass versus Planeswalker, Chaos Wand against Control. I put the 4th Chromatic Lantern in the board in case we need to search it up. You got Crucible, Field of Ruin to basically kill all their lands. Golden Guardian as like a fight spell. Icy Manipulator versus like Feather. Junk Troller. There's times when you can pretty much mill your whole deck, or draw your whole deck and play it. So Junk Troller gets to put stuff back that we recycle. God Pharaohs as like attacks. Mortal Sun as a way to stop Super Friends, and a couple Meteor Golems as removal. So I'll run this one back. It's a best of 1 deck, so I'll do a separate video on it as I've been playing, but I just want to get through the rotation decks. But usually like 3 matches with the rotation proof deck is where I usually cap it, so we'll do a fun of. Let me know what you think of this, if this is something once we play the game, if you'd like to see a whole dedicated video. Yeah, it's basically I went through the list. I went artifacts and threw together a pile. Golos is such a fun card, and it's so flexible because it's colorless. This hand is pretty good. We got the Lantern to cast Sai, and then we can treasure map and Karn. If we draw another land, depending how he plays out, we can go Sai first. With like, I think it's Guild Globes is the cycle. There's a bunch of artifacts that enter the battlefield and just kind of cycle themselves. This is mono red, yeah. I'm gonna set up the Scry first. Don't think we want Karn right now. Ooh, Fountain. Yay. That's what I wanted. I kind of had it going. I played best of one. Yesterday was probably the funniest because I was grinding with Cavalcade to try to hit Mythic. I played the same guy in a mono red mirror like 4 times. So here, I think we just go Sai. I'm actually not going to block with Sai just because I need him alive. Next turn we could Chromatic Lantern and Guild Globe, make some tokens. We'll gain a life back. They have 5 cards in hand, so it's very likely they have a burn spell. Yeah. Sometimes playing it safe. So we'll go Lantern here. Get a token. And then Guild Globe. Alright, so now we're kind of chaining off. Next turn we can go Karn with like a Scry. If this is Chain Whirler, then it's pretty bad. So we need... Okay, so no Chain Whirler this turn. See how they block. Okay, so they just go like that. Oh, they did have the Chain Whirler. That pretty much seals it up. Puts us into burn range. I'm actually gonna block like this. Because if they cast any spell, that kills the Sai. Well, I guess that forces them to kind of pop it that way. Okay, so we can go... Sai... Second Fountain. It basically cycles itself and makes a token. We're really just trying to stay alive. Throw this in front of that. Throw this in front of that. See what they come. If they have another... Yeah, so I got the other Chain Whirler. Dead Zoes! Okay, let's try it again without having to play mono red. Instantly queue up 6 times to mono red. You can get the idea of what we're trying to do with the deck here. It is a little bit susceptible to aggro. But if we get like the fountains on turn 1, it's a lot better. May want to put in like Ritual of Soot, but Ritual gets rid of our creatures too. I was actually thinking Flooded Tears almost. Okay, we'll keep this hand. We have the Scry to find another land. Perfect. So the nice thing is that's a colored source, so potentially allowing us to cast Saheeli. If not, we can play the Lantern. So some mono white. So it could be aggro. I don't want Ugin right now. We are a ways away from an Ugin. Mystic Forge is very good in artifact-based decks. Blast Zone's actually pretty sweet if this is like 1-drop tribal. It's a board wipe. Okay, that's all they're doing for their turn. I'm happy. So next turn, if we can draw a land, we can go Saheeli and Treasure Map. But I might actually drop Karn down. Karn goes up to a high loyalty and could distract them into attacking the Karn. They haven't dropped like a Pride Mate yet. I guess they have History Benalia. Ooh, Sai. Still a mana off Sai. Let's go Karn here. They'll likely give us a land.
I'll make use of that later.
So they have to give us a land here, which is fine. We only need the one Field of the Dead. So this might be just... Oh, they're just going after us. Pretty aggressive. Okay, so it's more mono white aggro. They just hedge against the mono red matchup. Oh, okay, so they had the response to Karn. So we have Golos, but I think we wait a turn on Golos. So this pops off for these. Block and block. Haven't run into much okay, second size, not as good. Just go Golos here, dig for a land. So we have Interplanar Beacon that can cast Saheeli. Also Temple. I think I go Interplanar, just because it'll gain us a life. We're okay anyways because Chromatic Lantern, and then if we draw another land, Chromatic Lantern will turn on Golos, and we can kind of go off that way. Opponent's at like infinite life. We also have this Blast Zone that I could just pop off and clear the board at any given time. Ayy, okay. Here comes the fun part. What do we got? Sweet. So with Mystic Forge, you can cast off the top of your library. Then this costs 0 because this has affinity for artifacts. So we're going to pay a life to get rid of that. We have a Karn that we get to cast for free. With mono white, it just kind of got outclassed. So 2 lands. We'll see what they give us. Doesn't really matter. Guild Globe. We don't have mana for it yet, but that's good for next turn. Then Super Claw them, gain a bunch of life. This matchup, probably just get Golden Guardian's just removal. yeah, but that's basically what the deck does. Just kind of goes off like that. Alrighty, so I think that's it. We're going to wrap it up for this. I'll come back with another rotation-proof deck, or probably just this one here. I've actually enjoyed this one the most. Just going to go eat some lunch. Try to be back later today. If not, we'll catch you tomorrow. For anyone who tuned in halfway through, caught either just the tail end when we were playing the Artifact deck, I wanted to catch the Reanimator. I'll have that uploaded later today on YouTube. Either later today, Saturday, or on Sunday morning, so you can catch it there. If you do enjoy the content, either the stream or want to catch any of my other videos, you can follow on Twitch to know when I go live, or on YouTube you can hit that subscribe button. Both are free and easy ways to help out the channel, but also be in the loop whenever we go with a new deck. Appreciate those who tuned in live, and if I don't catch you later today, have a great weekend. If you're in Canada, enjoy the long weekend. Yeah, have a great one. Thanks, everyone.